Hey, Denny. Hey, guys.
Hey.
All right. We're doing a little recon just real quickly here before the show.
It didn't work.
No. But I did bring in a buttonhole punch, and we're playing with it with a piece of leather. So we can kind of practice with that. I brought in a little section of zipper tape so we can show you how to install a zipper pull. We were talking about button studs. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good morning.
Just full disclosure, Liz this week started drinking energy drinks. So that might be a fun transition for all of us. We'll see. But the coffee consumption wasn't happening, and Liz was not doing great because she needs the coffee, and so we switched to energy drinks to see if that will help us get through the day. All right, so
When did you start this?
Wednesday.
So, well, you've gotten through several days.
I've gotten through a couple. Living off one Ghost Welch's grape juice energy drink a day. It tastes like grape juice. It is delicious, and it's hard to not just drink the whole thing immediately. I had to, on Wednesday, I noticed myself, it was like, I don't know, 9:30, and I was halfway through the can, and I was like, oh, girl, you got to calm down. Yeah, just hang tight. So yesterday we started our last segment of our Leather 101 back to school series, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I'm calling it. It's Leather Back to School Basics. I think that's what we called it. Talking about hardware. So we went through a pretty good slew of different hardware components that one might use for their leather construction needs.
Yes.
And we are back today with some more things that we didn't get to yesterday. Plus, I remembered some things that I forgot yesterday as we were going through stuff. There's a lot of hardware in the leather world.
Oh, man, lots of it.
It's really never ending.
What we've shown you is a drop in our bucket.
Yeah. We've shown you like one size of one finish of the whole product line. So, yeah, there's a lot of things. So, I did bring in a buttonhole punch so we can, I'm probably here again. Yeah. So this is what the buttonhole punch looks like. Now, I'm just going to say, I am really particular when it comes to my buttonhole punching. Yeah.
Installation.
So this is a 7mm buttonhole punch. However, in my personal opinion, it's a little too big. So this is a 7mm button stud. And I do have this on a fairly thin piece of leather, frankly. A thicker piece of leather would be better. But for me, that hole is just a little loose for the stud. Like, it's not super tight on the post there, and I prefer a much tighter one. So honestly, you could try. I also grabbed a 4mm. Let's just see what this one looks like. I'll go ahead and punch a slot. I've got my 7mm. I'm gonna punch my 4. Once again, that just punches the hole out along with
Yeah, it makes a little slit.
the slit. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see that a little bit. So this one is a 4mm buttonhole punch. And on a thin leather, that fits really good. That hole comes in pretty tight around the post there, and then the slot is just enough on a thin leather for it to pop through.
So I guess what you're saying is you're better off being a little bit small than a little bit large.
I think so.
On a button stud.
Yeah, especially if you have lightweight leathers. Heavier leathers, they're going to be tighter, especially if it's thick, if it's veg. You have less give, it's less stretch. So, you might want a little bit of a bigger hole or a longer slot. Because really the slot just allows it to open enough. So for me, I want the tightest hole possible, and then I'll extenuate the slot a little bit.
Yeah, if you need to.
If I need to get it over. But just what I really want is I want that hole to be the same diameter as the neck of that post on that stud. I think it looks cleaner. It's going to hold better. And then that works good. So for me, if I was doing something like this, I would use the 4mm hole, the buttonhole punch for a 7mm stud. That's my personal preference. If we were working with several layers, do I have some veg in the trash can here? What do we got? I know I have a pile of something somewhere. This isn't veg, but it's thicker. This is stouter leather. So let's see what the difference here is. This is, here we go, guys. We're just gonna do some testing today. 3 to 4 ounce was my black. This is a 6 ounce, so 2 ounces heavier. It's right at a 6. I think the other one was like 3.5, but much less stretch. So this is my. I don't have a piece of granite under this, which is not ideal. All right. You know what I'm going to do? Just going to pop it in like that. So that is, for me, that is still loose.
It is.
You know?
It is.
I still feel like that is on the loose side. So I would, more snug is more better. And on this one, yeah. So for me, I say, you know, either if you want to invest in the whole gambit of these guys and then determine, you know, which one will work best for your project. But I would probably just punch a hole and punch a slot. I think those chisels that we have are real nice. You can get like a 5mm just straight chisel, and then you can kind of just snug it up into the hole, or just take your, you know.
Yeah, just take an X-Acto knife or a box knife.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna say, all right, this post is approximately. Let's see if we can find. It's a little bit wider, so that diameter, when I hold it up, of that is just a little bit wider than the post of the button stud, but I think it's going to work just fine. So we're going to pop that in. And then take your knife. There we go. And you got your own buttonhole stud. Hole. Boop. Perfect. Good to go. So, I don't know. Don't waste your money. Just punch a hole.
Yeah. It's a simple deal.
Yeah. All right.
If you're doing 30 of those, it'd be nice to have a buttonhole punch.
That is true. That is true. All right. All right, so that is buttonhole stud. So from there, let's talk about, oh, that's the wrong one. Let's talk about the Sam Brown.
Yeah.
So yesterday, we had mentioned the Sam Browns, but I didn't have any with me. So the Sam Brown is a button stud, but it looks even more like a doorknob. So you get these guys. So you basically have a rivet, kind of just like your rivet and burr. You get a rivet post. It's a solid post. And then you get your stud. These are really fancy. I think they're really pretty. A little bit more shape. They kind of look like a pawn, like a chess pawn.
Yeah.
They're quite nice. So then this you use, there's a little anvil that you buy when you want to set the Sam Browns. This goes in there. It holds it perfectly. The center of this is lower than the height of your stud so that you don't mar up the top. But it sits, so there's a lip on that stud, and this anvil will hold that lip in place. And then, once again, you want to put it on a piece of granite. This anvil is nice and cute, but it's probably not going to be hard enough for you to actually set this. And then you're going to punch a hole in your leather, you know, and then you're going to put that in there. And then you're going to hammer it.
Yeah. The hole in the leather just needs to be as big as the neck of that stud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want it to be, once again, pretty tight. So, a nice tight, you just put it in there, and then you're going to hammer it. You notice that it's sitting up quite a ways. I would use a pretty heavy-duty hammer.
Yep.
Because you really have to mash that. Because you are, once again, peening this tip out inside of the stud. So that's how you do that. So this is if you want maybe a heavier duty button stud than what these guys are, this is also going to set a lot flatter. A lot of these button studs have a pretty significant height to the screw.
The screw back is pretty thick.
Yeah, and so if you're in a situation where you want that to be really shallow, like you're lining it, or it's going to be a wristband, or just something that's, you don't want a lot of bulk out there, sometimes I'll go to the hardware store and I will find a screw that I like that will fit in to whatever it is that I'm doing, especially if I'm inlaying it. So I use a lot of button studs, like I said, on my knife sheaths. I will house that screw between my two front layers. I don't want that screw to go all the way through because I don't want that metal on the inside of my sheath to scratch up the blade of the knife, right? And I would say the same thing on a holster. I don't know if you'd use a Sam Browne on a holster, but you don't want any metal on the inside of either a holster or a knife sheath because you don't want it to scratch. So it needs to be housed between two pieces of leather. You need to line it. And lining something with this big bulky screw head on the back is not great. Now you could, if you had maybe a heavier piece of leather, you could take your
French edger
and
skive it a little bit.
Waller out a hole.
Yeah, waller it out. Yeah.
To set your stud, your screw head kind of into. So if you are lining with an 8 to 9 ounce piece of leather, which seems extraordinarily heavy to me, but if you are so doing, then you can waller out a little bit of depth there. Or even on the front side, you could take it off the back and the front. So wherever you punch your hole for the thing to come through, if you have 8 to 9 ounce, take out some of that thickness from both the back and the front, and you'll allow it to set a little bit more flush.
Yep.
So that's how I like, but in any case, you wanna house that in the middle. So these are meant to go on this fancy little buckle. So this is what we talked about yesterday. This is a Sam Browne buckle. And I believe whenever you attach it to the belt, this is stationary, and then you're just unhooking this side.
Right.
So this you kind of have, like we were talking about yesterday with your straps. Mm-hmm. And the Conway buckle.
The Conway, yes.
Yeah. This is just kind of set permanently in whatever size. So you put your duty belt on that has all of your stuff in it. This is already set to whatever size you are, and then this is just how you take it on and off. But these button studs go with this style of buckle. It looks a very specific way. And yeah, I think
the reason that the button stud is there is you don't need to keep her that way.
Right, because you have a couple sets of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is you have the two holes where this go, and then I think farther down the belt you have these button studs set in, and that you just attach the flap to the stud.
Slip it on there, and it hooks on those two, and then slip it over that button stud.
Denny and I were just talking, and we're like, we've never done a video on this, so I think that we're going to put that on our list of things to make a duty belt or just some sort of a fancier belt using the Sam Browne stuff, because I think it's pretty cool. If you're a park ranger, you probably need one of these.
Yeah.
Go Park Rangers! William, we don't blame anybody when technology goes wrong.
I do.
Because
what do you mean we?
We work together to figure it out. Because technology is complicated, and it does its own thing when it wants to. And sometimes you push all the buttons, and you're like, why isn't this still working? All right, so now let's just talk real fast about putting a zipper pull onto a zipper. I grabbed the white because I was like, oh, the black probably would be terrible. And you know what? I bet if I didn't have a white background. I don't know. But I did bring a brown zipper so that we have contrast. Oh, that's better. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So you can get multi-directional zippers and zipper pulls or directional zippers and zipper pulls. Here we have directional. However, with our nylon, so the brass 5 and 10 and these are very specifically directional. These have to go one way. And even with our number 5 and our number 10 zipper tape, they are still directional. They only go together one way. With our nylon zipper tape, Terry has shown me where she will put one on both ways, and it does work. So that you could have the zipper pull situation where you have pulls.
Split it apart.
Correct, yeah. So like if you wanted to put your pulls in a situation where they're going to open and close from the middle and then go to the sides, or you can have it directional or both directional. You can make it work. So what you're going to do, once again, like we talked about yesterday, you want to keep everything together for when you sew it in to the one side. So you kind of want to like tape everything down, sew it in on one side, and then because it's probably going to be really hard to sew on the other side while it's still together. Usually for whatever project you're doing, that just won't work. That ship has sailed. So you're just going to open it up a little bit, and then we're going to thread on. Don't open it up all the way, because then that gets real bad.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just like an inch. Just enough where you can get the pull on. And we're going to thread in one side, and then we're going to thread in the other side, because they have to meet together at the back. And then sometimes you need 4 hands.
I've seen pictures of people using a fork.
To hold it down.
Yeah.
Ha! All right, see, 4 hands. and then you're good to go. Right? So once your pull is installed and you have one side sewn down, put your basting tape is amazing for installing zipper tape, because glue just doesn't want to stick. It soaks through. It's just not great. With the tack time, it's not a fun thing to glue in zipper. So for the most part, when people are installing zipper tape, a rolled edge is nice, because a lot of times it's upholstery stuff. Mm-hmm. So you do your rolled edge, and then you just roll it a 1/4 inch, so you got a nice lip there to sew on. You could maybe even 3/8.
Yeah, it does as much as you want.
As much as you want, yeah. And then what you want to do is, once your zipper pull is on, you want to line up the edge of your leather. This is pretty straight. You're going to line up the edge of your leather where the width of your pull, right? So if we've rolled our edge, but we're going to line it all up. Frankly, I kind of want this closed more. So you don't want to put your leather right next to the zipper teeth like that, because then you won't be able to open your zipper. Yeah. So you want to give yourself whatever amount of width that the head needs to open. So usually like 1/8 of an inch or so. I think with the number 10 and the number 5, it's more because the zipper pull is wider.
A little heavier, yeah.
Yeah, but you want to make sure. So then you're going to put your basting tape, and you can put your basting tape along the edge of your zipper tape, and then just line your leather right up. You can also put your basting tape on, the back side of your leather, just lay it along there, and then you're going to line her all up. And then you're going to sew down this side, and then you can open up the zipper. Well, then you will lay down your other side, open up the zipper, and then sew it with your tape down. That's the best way. And I do think, let's just try it. So this is on this way. I don't know how to get the other one. Oh, I guess maybe they meet face to face, right?
Yes.
They meet face to face.
Because they slide opposite of each other.
That's right. So I'm just going to reopen that. And then we'll put another one on. So you would put one on from this side, because the face has to be going up the zipper.
Yes.
Because it's closing. And then we're going to put this on. And then we're going to grab our other hands. Got it. All right.
It's such a thrill when it actually works.
It really is. Sometimes it does not. That was actually pretty easy. Sometimes it does not go on that easy, or you've got it to where one of your teeth is a little bit off. And frankly, that does kind of look a little off, but maybe I cut it weird. It does kind of look like this one is a little bit shorter.
Well, one zipper is, one side is got to be shorter than the other side because they mesh
That's
over
true.
and under.
I do feel like maybe I'm off one, but that's okay. And then with these, you just sew them in at the end. You just sew across the nylon zippers. It's not going to hurt your sewing machine. It's not going to hurt your needles if you're hand sewing.
Yeah, and you don't need to put a stop on the end of the zipper.
No, it's good to go. Zippers are really not as complicated as people make them. Those hidden zippers, that's another story. When you have hidden zippers in clothing and you have to do a turn and they're like inside out and they're backwards and...
Oh, with like a flap over them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the invisible zipper. I don't like to bring it up, but that one time I tried to make a leather skirt and it really didn't go well. It was the zipper's fault. It was the zipper's fault. So, William, we're doing great here. How are you? We're doing fantastic. Yeah, you want to make sure the bumps on the teeth are going the same direction. And that's why I don't like to open the zipper. Like, I don't like to pull it apart before I start installing it. Because then you could get the things going the wrong way. But if you get it and it's all together and then you put it in, then you know everything is going the right direction.
Just split it apart to get the slide on.
Yeah.
And then quit.
And really with the nylon, this is way more user friendly than the brass and the aluminum zippers. Although, like with the finished length ones are chap zippers that are completed, like it's a complete open zipper. These, like, it's pretty obvious what side is what. It's got all the things on the sides that you need. If you just buy the tape, then yes, you do want to make sure that the little nubbins are going the right direction. They want to point up. The nubbins point up because the top of my zipper is here and all those little nubbins on those teeth point up because they seat into each other. All right. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So that's zipper stuff. Yesterday we kind of talked about our domed rivets as a bag foot option. Was there something else that we talked about as bag feet?
We talked about that last week or whenever we did the other the tool.
But there are
segment.
Just bag feet. So you can buy these little guys. We carry them in a couple different finishes. They're bradded here, so they do need to be lined. You want to put these through the bottom layer of leather and then have something else that's going to come over the top and kind of secure them. You could also buy a washer or like a flat washer to just kind of keep these stable.
That won't keep them. You do need to put something over the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you absolutely, because that's just, number one, that's unsightly. It's going to get caught on all the things in a bag. But it would just to provide a little bit of stability, depending on the sturdiness of your bag. A layer of Bontex on the bottom is really nice. Ooh, hardware. We did not bring in Bontex, and I kind of actually consider that a little bit of a hardware item.
Let me go get a piece of Bontex.
Okay.
I'll just bring a chunk of it.
Yeah. Bontex is really great. So if you want to make a structured bag, having Bontex available will allow you to do that and then still use lightweight, flexible, soft leathers. And that's what, if I was putting together a bag and I wanted a sturdy, solid bottom, I'm going to insert, we carry Bontex in 4 or 5 different thicknesses. I think we have like a 0.015 up to a 0.05 is our heaviest, if I'm remembering correctly. So the 0.015, it's pretty lightweight. It's really for small accessories, just something where you're using pretty thin leather. You need a little bit of a firmness, but maybe you still want it to fold because that Bontex is fairly flexible. It's really quite nice. I don't know if I would do a hard fold in it, but you could do like a soft curve out of the 0.015. And then once you get up to like the 0.05, that's what I'm going to be using if I'm cutting out patterns. It's super sturdy. but that would be a really great bag bottom. So you have your layer of leather, and then you can put your Bontex down on your leather. And if we were going to, say, install bag feet, I would install the bag feet through the Bontex. I might even still put a washer depending on how sturdy I want things. And I would go find a washer that's just about the same diameter of the top of the bag foot, maybe a little bit wider so it doesn't sink in, but I didn't want to add any extra bubble to that section. You know, you don't want to necessarily see it. So I think if you got a washer that would kind of just sit, because it's conical. So you could get a washer that kind of fits right into the top and even seats itself down a little bit and just provides a little bit of sturdiness, because that cone shape is gonna keep it from, you know, crushing down or moving down very far. I think it's still gonna give you some stability. But yeah, so Bontex, this is the .05. So this is the heaviest of the ones that we sell. And it's quite sturdy, it's quite firm.
And it's surprising when you mess with it, you think, well, this isn't gonna stiffen it up very much, but
It sure does.
when you put a piece of leather top and bottom on that, yeah, you've got a board.
Yeah, this is what I use for my photo albums. So I use really thin pieces of, you know, like either the import veg in like a 2-3 that I'm gonna water marble, and then like a suede back, so like that thing would be just floppy when I finish it. Put a layer of this in there, and it's a book.
And also, I don't know if Bontex is a trade name or not, but bag stiffener.
Bag stiffener. That is what it's called. I think on the, maybe Bontex bag stiffener. I think our name is bag stiffener.
Yeah.
And sometimes it says like tie something on the back. There's a word that starts with a T, and it's kind of like a Bontexy type word, but it starts with a T. And I do know in some shoe industry stuff, you can get a Bontex or a bag stiffener with an adhesive back. It's like a heat activated.
Yeah, like for heel counters and toe boxes. And
We
stuff.
had some of that for a while, just from a miscellaneous purchase that we made from like a shoe repair store that was going out of business, but we don't stock that, so that's not something that we carry or have anymore. It's been years ago since we had that.
Yeah, but that stuff cements really, really easily.
It does.
Really well.
Yep, I just use my Aqualum,
Yeah.
spread it on, put it on my leather.
Yeah.
It has a nice texture on one side, and one side is smooth, but it's a fiberboard.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
looks just like cardboard.
Yeah.
But it's got fiber in it, and
Yeah.
it's tough stuff.
I think it's like somewhere in the $10 range per sheet, and you get a 3-foot by 4-foot sheet. Unless you're just making a ton of bags and going through, you know, like a half a sheet per bag. But even then, you have like $5 a sheet in the bag at the most. It's a great, once again, I use this for my patterns. It's great for pattern cutting out. I prefer it to cardboard, because cardboard has all the layers. Or it's just, I don't know, likes to tear. This is really nice.
Yeah,
It
that's
cuts
what
nice.
I use for patterns.
Yeah.
Permanent pattern.
Yeah. So anytime you're buying a couple sides of leather, and you know, I would not buy this on its own, because shipping is going to be really expensive, because dimensionally it's really large. It's super lightweight, but we don't really like to, especially if you buy the heaviest one, we don't like to fold it really tightly. So it has to go in like a 10 by 10 box, because we try not to roll it super tight, because that's not really happy. You kind of have to let it relax when it gets to your house. Also, if you do buy it, don't just let it just sit in the box for forever. Unroll it and put it somewhere flat.
Yeah, put it flat. Put it behind something where you can just lay it flat.
Yeah.
Behind the door or something.
But yeah, if you're ordering a side or two of leather, throw in a couple sheets of Bontex. Like, it's only going to add, you know, $30 to your order, but then you don't have to pay crazy shipping just for Bontex if you need it. So it's a cheap bag stiffener. If you go to our website and you type in the search bar bag stiffener, this listing will come up. Inside that listing, like I said, we have 4 or 5 different thicknesses. So for whatever project, if you're doing wallets, I would use the lighter weight one. Like if you're, I don't know, if you want to make a wallet back out of Blizzard and for whatever reason you don't want to line it with veg, I don't know, you might use the lightest weight one or something.
Yeah, if you're using a heavier leather and you just want to add a little bit of body to it, use the lightweight one, because it will add more than you think it will.
Yeah. So it's never a bad thing. It's kind of like rivets. It's never a bad thing to have kind of the whole arsenal in your toolbox at your workbench for whatever projects you come up with. So they're cheap enough. Order 1 or 2 sheets in each weight, and just have it ready. Also, just patterns. I don't know. Patterning is something in order to get, you know, you want to R&D your project, you make your pattern, and especially for a project that requires a lot of layers or a lot of pieces to go together, you want to cut your parts pretty precisely. And so having a paper pattern is really not very conducive to getting your parts to come out really even and clean.
Every time you draw around a paper pattern, it makes it a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. And it also, you know, peeling it up or laying it down, it's just, it's harder to get super clean. And for me, when I'm making a knife sheath, you know, I'm building up, I might have 3 or 4 layers per side plus my welt thickness, and depending on how complicated the welt needs to be, you know, I had a dagger one time where, I mean, the thing was only, you know, 1 inch wide at the widest, but at the top of it, it was 3/4 of an inch thick before it went up into the guard and the handle. I don't know why he did that. I mean, it was a cool dagger. I liked it a lot. It's one of my favorite sheaths I've ever made. But I had to build up a 3/4 inch welt at the top. And so my welt, I had the main piece that went, and then I had 3 pieces. Like, I had 2 pieces coming off of each side. And then I tapered everything down to get to my 3/4 of an inch, you know? So having a full set of Bontex patterns, and I do believe that I talked about this in my sheath video that I did last year, or whatever it was, having a pattern for every section of what you're doing so that you can kind of compare, make sure everything's coming out well, make sure your pieces, because you don't want them to start coming out smaller. Yep. And then suddenly the back doesn't fit the front and your stitch line is like 1/8 of an inch narrower on one side than it is the other, and you have to make these 2 pieces meet. That's no fun. Nobody likes that. No. So I like having a cutout for each one of my sections. It's just a really handy tool. It's a great tool. It's a good piece of hardware. All right, so we got bag feet. There's a whole bunch of different styles of bag feet. This is the main one that we sell. I do believe that we also have a black, like, push. It's like a plastic foot.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit sturdier.
To go in a piece of really heavy, thick leather, or a piece of wood.
Yeah. It has a pressure fit post. Yeah. So it's those, what are those screws that just have the, is that just called pressure fit?
Yeah.
Where it's not actually a screw, but it's just a series of shelves that you clip into.
Shank.
A ring shank.
Ring shank.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what the plastic black foot has. It's a, you know, I guess if you're making a briefcase that's real stout.
It's like barbs on the.
That's what it is. Yeah. So it just catches, you push it in as far as it's going to go, and then it won't pull back out. Back feet. Back feet are just. Oh, it was the flat rivet. The one that has a little bit of shelf. So we carry it's something flat rivet. There's another word that I'm not coming up with, but that was a really good bag foot. It was just a really light.
Yeah, it's just round and thick, about about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a bag foot.
Yeah. All right, we talked about this. Now we can talk about grommets and eyelets. So when we did our setting video 2 weeks ago, we went over the differences between grommets and eyelets, and we did show you how to use these using the setters that we have. Eyelets are the top side of a grommet with no washer. So eyelets they roll like this, you know? They have a post that you're going to set into an anvil that has a divot in it that's going to keep this head rounded all nice and smooth. And then the back, you're going to peen over. You're going to mushroom it out, and they roll. These sometimes can pull out. You kind of see it's not really hanging on by much.
And if the leather is very thin, they will actually split on that backside and kind of splash out.
Yeah. So eyelets are good just for like decorative holes and things, different things like that. I don't know. I know that those like double hole belts, that I've seen some that have eyelets that are put into them. So like a buffalo belt that just is eyelets all the way around.
Yeah, and then people come in and say, "Hey, this came out. Can you fix this?"
My eyelet popped out. Yeah. So I don't use eyelets very much in construction of things. If I need a hole that needs to be sturdy, so eyelets are reinforcing a hole in something. So think like corsets, or in my purse where the straps come out of the bag. So the strap is just a solid piece of leather that has a knot tied in the end on the inside of the bag. They run through a grommet coming out of the bag, right? So it's a thin leather, it's got a lining. Anytime you have a fabric lining, you really need to reinforce that hole. And ideally that's probably done with a grommet, because the eyelets, since they don't have that washer on the backside, they are not going to secure fabric nearly as well, because fabric frays. So you're not going to catch it with that tiny little roll. I'm sure that there are great uses for eyelets.
Oh yeah, they're more of a decorative item than they are a utility item.
Yeah.
You know.
I suppose I see a lot, like reenactment stuff for just like decoration. So if you have a vest and you want to put like cool metallic decoration, but you are outside in leather in the summer, maybe you want it to be breezy. So you put holes in your leather vest so that at the Ren Fest you don't pass out.
Yeah, and put eyelets in it.
Put some eyelets in it, yeah. And eyelets are usually smaller than grommets. So I think our eyelets start out at like 1/8 of an inch and then go up to 1/4 of an inch, I believe, is the largest of the eyelets. And then grommets start around 1/4 of an inch and then go up to 1/2 inch from there. The size of the hardware that you're buying is the size of the hole. So if you buy a 1/4 inch grommet, it is not 1/4 inch diameter. It's going to be bigger than 1/4 inch. The hole will be 1/4 inch, and then you will have that flange on the outside. Okay? So, you buy a 1/4 inch eyelet or grommet, you need to buy a 1/4 inch hole punch, maybe a little smaller if your leather's stretchy. Because you want, especially with the eyelet, because it does not have that washer, you want it to be as tight of a fit as possible.
Nice and snug. Yeah.
If you have a hole that's too big, you're just gonna roll it on nothing.
Yeah.
So as tight as possible. So I would suggest taking whatever leather you're using for your project and testing out hole sizes until you find the right one on something that's not your project. Until you figure out what size hole you need to put in your project. And then that's the size hole you use to set your eyelets.
Yeah.
So that they don't fall out. Super tight hole. Everything, just with hardware, tighter's better. That's what I got. So grommet is like an eyelet. Usually their flange is wider. So you can see this outside here is significantly wider. I mean, obviously this is a different size, but this is the top. So this is my 1/4 inch grommet, and this is my 1/4 inch eyelet. So you can kind of see that there is a difference in the flange width. And once again, that is really good for holding fabrics. So a lot of times you see these on, like sale things, heavy canvas items, tarps, tents, yeah. So you've got the two parts, you have a washer, and then you have your grommet. So put this, once again, punch as tight of a hole as you can into your project. You pop that through the hole, you put the grommet on, or the washer on the other side, and then you're going to roll this over. And since this is rolling onto your washer, much sturdier set. So this you can use, like if you're lacing up a corset, I would probably use these 1/4 inch grommets for the back of a corset so that you can actually get a really good pull on it, because I would be afraid of an eyelet pulling out. I don't know. I don't really wear them, so I don't know how tightly you pull. There's a Luna in the hallway. Come on, Loons. How did you get out? My dog lets herself in. Anyways, eyelets, grommets, they're good stuff. They secure holes or decorate them.
Yes.
All right, so let's see here. Now we just kind of have some random stuff. We got belt clips.
Yeah, holster clips.
Holster clips.
Yeah.
Any sort of thing that you want to, or, if you're making cell phone cases.
Yeah. We have, and there's a couple of different sizes of those in different styles.
Oh, yeah. I did not bring in the smallest one. So there's one that's like half this width. And
that would be good for a cell phone case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this one is just called a regular belt clip. And you can see that this, on the back here, this section is flat. and then it just rivets on. This is called a spring belt clip. Sorry, this angle is weird.
Yeah, it's got a hook on the over loop and then a hook on the under loop, so it grabs onto your belt a little tighter.
Let's try the overhead. Yeah. Oh. Wee, hang tight. All right. There we go. So yeah, so you have this little, so that's the holster clip, and it has this what they call a spring, that little section. So it's supposed to prevent it from pulling off of your belt.
Like if you're pulling a knife or whatever you've got that attached to, it won't pull off your belt very easily.
Yeah, as opposed to the regular one.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the two different styles. And then, like I said, we have one that is the same construction as this, so it doesn't have the spring, and but it's half the width. So it's a little tiny version like that. We carry all these in black and nickel. Holster clips. That's a spring one. They rivet in on the bottom. They attach things to a belt.
Speaking of holsters.
Speaking of holsters, look at you go. What's this, Denny?
That is a thumb brake stiffener. Some holsters, they put what they call a thumb brake on, which is just a piece of leather that sticks up that you can push with your thumb, and it unsnaps your fastener. And that just stiffens it. It makes the leather a little stiffer, so you aren't just pushing against leather.
So does this bigger hole, does that go through the snap post?
Yes.
Okay.
The bigger one goes through the snaps, the smaller one goes through a rivet.
Through a rivet.
Yeah.
All right.
Or a rivet goes through it.
Yeah. So this just goes inside the strap on your holster to provide, a thumb brake.
Yeah. Yes.
A flip.
It's just a stiffener. That's all it's for.
Yeah. So you stitch around it. Set your snap in there. You pull the dot that we talked about yesterday.
Yeah.
Everything will be so secure. It's going to be the most secure. So. And then we kind of went over some different D, round, and rectangular rings yesterday, but we also carry a variety of strap slides. So these just allow you to adjust your strap. Yeah. You can, do I have a strap? No. You can secure, so you put your permanent strip through this middle bar. So you're gonna wrap your leather through and then secure it somehow. And then your other piece will weave up and down.
Yeah, and it allows you, you guys have seen them whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
It's just on any strap that you can make longer or shorter. On a duffel bag or a lot of handbags will use them too.
Yeah. So just an adjustable strap slide. So we do, you can buy it with the 3 bars so that you can have that center, and then your strap slides through the top and bottom. And then you can just buy a single strap slide. But that's kind of more a rectangular ring.
Yeah.
You can secure it to both sides. I suppose you could loop one side over if you wanted to, and then use a button stud. You could have one side permanent on the top, and then have your bottom side come up, loop through the bottom, and then somehow secure with a button stud. I don't know. Play around with your hardware. And then if you want to make a little coin pouch or something, a little spring pouch, we sell what is called a purse frame, a squeeze coin purse frame. So this it's a spring, and it comes with a couple little pins that you'll drop here. You're gonna wrap your leather around this, put a stitch at the bottom, and then install the little pins. This is actually super simple. You can make a glasses case. This would be a great little glasses case. Honestly, now that I look at it, I wonder if my retainer case would fit in there, and I could put a toothbrush, just make it long enough for a toothbrush. That'd be sweet. I've been thinking about how to travel with my new situation.
You can have that, and you made it for me, but I don't know. So.
It's not long enough, but it's
Okay.
it's the right idea. Everybody say hi to Luna. Yeah, so we carry this squeeze. Hold on. Squeeze coin purse frame. Sometimes our descriptions in the Wayback Machine, we would build descriptions so that you could look up a specific category of items, and then everything had to have commas to condense things, but we only had like 30 characters, so we didn't put spaces so that we could get all the information into a thing. And now that technology is a little bit more user friendly, and you can just search things, and you don't have to you're not pulling up Excel spreadsheets all the time. We can rename things differently, but some things are getting, it's the process. We got 30,000 items, so it just takes a while to rename things. So sometimes our old names, you have to kind of decipher and go from the end to the beginning and work your way through to actually get, the way that the word should be said aloud when you speak them. In any case, purse frames. This is just fun to play with. Yeah. All right. And this is our little lamb leather. If you guys haven't seen it, this is a really cute little coin. I like it. And it kind of puffs up. It keeps the air in.
It's neat.
All right.
It's fun.
Next, we have money clips.
That's last on the list.
So these go into a bifold wallet of some sort.
Yeah.
You sew up a little tube
Yeah.
in the spine. This shaft goes into said little tube, and then this guy is on the outside of the leather, and you slip your money in there for people that still carry cash. Aren't you cute?
There are some places that don't take cash anymore or
I know.
checks.
It's a weird world.
You go to a national park, and inside the park, most places don't take cash anymore. Just card only.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with
Yeah.
having money.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a whole lot. We have to go to the bank every day to be like, all right, we're running out of ones, we're running out of quarters,
Yeah.
we're running out of fives, whatever. You got to go break down your money and redistribute it.
Yeah.
I don't think
Luckily-
there's a bank very close to most national parks.
Luckily, we're right across the street from a bank.
We are. So, yeah, these money clips are really nice. You can make them like a minimalist wallet, where you have a couple credit card pockets on each side, and then you're just gonna, maybe you do an exotic on the front, and then your liner on the back. You're gonna sew up a little tube on either side. So don't, allow enough room for this to go in. Maybe put it between your pieces of leather and then glue them together, and then you can pull it back out. Just sew up those lines and then sew around each side, and now you got a money clip wallet. Easy peasy. So, spring money clip. All right. Well, that is all of the hardware that we brought in. Don't cash shame us, Liz. I'm not cash shaming. Sometimes my brother-in-law gives me some cash, and then I have it for a while until I spend it at the sandwich shop, because they only take cash. That is I do find that really funny, where you come across the businesses that still only take cash.
Yeah.
It's a special breed of people, but I do love the sub shop. If you're in Springfield and you need a sandwich and it's not the weekend, go to the sub shop. If you're here shopping at Springfield Leather, you just it's 2 blocks down the road. It's the best sandwiches in town. You can get the Reuben, fantastic. I love it. They have a really great meatball sub, really spectacular.
Where is this one?
It's where the cemetery starts?
Yeah.
It's across the street from the cemetery, right
It's
down
called the
Glenstone.
Sub Shop.
It's called the sub shop.
I've seen that, and I've heard people talk about it, but I just never knew where it was. I didn't know
Yeah,
it was
take $15. Their sandwiches are $10 or less, and they only take cash. And the guy is the nicest guy ever. And they win awards all the time. They're always in 417 magazine. Because they're just cool. I think it's Ethan. And then his brother runs one downtown. That's our food for the day. Do you sell scalpa or salamander? Salpa or salamander? I don't know what that is. Robbie, what is that? I will give Plant and Leather. I will give Luna a treat after this. I have to go find one, or maybe Stacy has one that I can do. I made the mistake of using one piece of brass YKK zipper on a pistol case and didn't zip it up. That was the day I learned that they are directional.
That was the day.
That was the day. We made a discovery. I think she just fell.
She had a klutzy moment.
Come here. Good girl. Luna has had a rough week. I don't know, since we kind of finished and we have a couple minutes before noon. We were playing stick in the alley, and Russ in the shop had found us a really stout stick. It was a really good one. It did fly really well. She couldn't chew it up because she does like to do that while we play with sticks. And we caught it, which I try not to let her do with the really stout sticks. But we were very excited, and we caught it, and we broke off our canine. So we're one less canine this week. But the vet said she was probably going to be okay.
Bite you 1 3/4.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's healing up. I think we're good. Do you sell longer screws for conchos? I can't find just the screw part. Heart of the West, we do. We do sell long screws. When we get off here, I will send you an email with the link.
Yeah. But check a hardware store too, if you need longer than what we sell.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you started your Lego? No, I wish I started my new Lego set. No, I had a weekend with the girlfriends planned last weekend, so I did that. And then this Sunday, I leave for a road trip with my mom and my uncle, and we're gonna road trip through Oklahoma and Kansas.
How long is that going to be?
We're gonna leave Sunday, and we'll probably be back Friday. So,
Nice.
yeah, I am excited. We're gonna tootle around. We're gonna go to the salt mine in Kansas. It's somewhere in Kansas, but
Wow.
yeah, it actually looked really cool. I'm excited.
That's neat. That's underground. It'll
Yeah.
be nice this time of year.
I know. She told me about it, and I was like, a salt mine in Kansas. That seems. But at one point, everything was ocean, so that makes sense.
You know, this last weekend, I went on a little foray.
You did.
We went to Mammoth Springs in Arkansas, which is just right across the border from Missouri, right out of Thayer, Missouri. And this spring there, believe it or not, this is the truth. It puts out over 9 million gallons of water per hour. Per hour. I'm not. Look it up. Look it up. I knew
that's
you
crazy.
I knew you would have to give me that.
An
look.
hour. That's like
Per
Niagara
hour.
Falls.
Per hour. Yeah. There's this stream that runs out of it about as wide as this room, and I mean it's probably 20 feet deep, and it just churns.
That's where Josh grew up. He talks about all that water all the time.
Yeah.
We drive through there, going back and forth from Atlanta now because we take the south route and we go through Memphis, and it's pretty.
Oh,
it's so pretty.
Beautiful, yeah.
Then he said he had a really great time camping at what lake?
Fucci.
Fucci Lake.
Fucci.
How's that spelled, Denny?
We thought it was Foosh,
Uh-huh.
but the locals call it Fucci. It's probably Foosh, but they're from Arkansas. They're down there. It's kind of like Acorn and Acorn.
Let's see here. One last little announcement. We are going to, I don't think I've talked to you about this yet because I really haven't had a chance. We're going to start switching things up. No, I did. After next week, so I'll be gone next week. Denny and Ryan will do trading cards on Friday of next week. So they will be here with you. We won't have a video on Thursday. And then going forward, we are going to start doing live videos on Friday only. So we'll have live shopping on Wednesday. And then Friday, we will be doing our main live project videos. That'll kind of allow us to maybe we'll do a little bit longer than just an hour, depending on what we're doing, to try to get a project done in a week or do a little bit more prep and have some steps here or there. And then we're going to start trying to do a little bit more recorded stuff for some more shorter form how-to tutorials. So we're going to kind of move around some of the video content a little bit. I'm going to try to do a little bit more long form but recorded video with Caitlin here, kind of like what Ryan has been doing, just so we can get through a little bit more short. You know, people's attention spans are getting shorter. Everybody would prefer a 5-minute video versus watching us for an hour. They still love us. You guys still love us, and that's great. But you guys are real special, and we know we're special too. We like this form of content, but we know that it's not for everybody. And so we're going to start trying to shoot a little bit on Thursdays instead of doing the live content like this. So just everybody's aware. So next Friday we'll have some trading cards. Denny and Ryan will be doing that. And then starting the next week we'll do our live tutorials on Friday. And then Thursday we're just going to try to do a little bit recording so we can release more edited video content. So that is the plan.
Okay.
Alrighty, folks. I appreciate everybody spending their time with us. I hope everybody learned something this month. Hopefully you learned something, either new hardware or how to install some hardware that you've been having some trouble with, or learned something about chemicals that you hadn't seen before, or learned a little bit of something about leather that you didn't know. So I hope everybody enjoyed this month's worth of videos. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to shoot us an email or a comment, and we will see if we can get your questions answered. What is the caves like around Springfield? We have great caves. This is a cave-tastic place.
Yeah.
We've got the Fantastic. We've got the what's the M1 Merrimack.
Yeah.
We've got
Merrimack Caverns.
there's like a one just at a park in town over here. Sequoia Park has a cave.
Yeah.
We have a prehistoric cave that's not open to the public, but it's really cool down by a golf course by River Cut.
Yeah, what's the name
They
of
found
it?
a short-faced bear down there, a cool skeleton. I actually got to go through it one time. That's a really cool story. It's my little specialty. I was in the right place at the right time situation. But we do have a lot of really cool caves around here. So
Yeah, it's called karst topography because there's caves everywhere under us.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, Springfield has an underground storage cave.
That yeah.
You know?
That was natural, right?
Yeah, a big part of it. Of course, they've expanded it.
Yeah.
But,
We store a lot of cheese.
They can drive semi-trucks inside this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a data center down there that is self-cooling. Isn't that fun? It's been down there forever and ever. We have a lot of really cool caves because we sit on limestone, and limestone likes to be eaten away by the water.
Yeah.
And so then it makes holes. Isn't science fun? Don't we all like science? I think we all like science. If we like leather, then we like science, because leather is just some science that happened to some skin.
Yeah. Scientific skin.
Scientific skin. Alrighty, folks. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Wish me luck next week.
I do.
It's going to be great. I'm excited. And we will be